Roller coaster manufacturers make or break the community. Some manage to stay in business, building the worst possible rides ever, Zamperla, and some build the majestic masterpieces we see in our dreams. In today's video, and I guess in a future one, we will go through every single coaster manufacturer known to mankind and rank it in a tier list. This will cover the big names from Bolliger and Mabillard to the itty bitty small ones that no one has heard of like PAX, and compare them amongst each other. We will be going in alphabetical order because of convenience, so yeah, let's just get started. Up first is a manufacturer called the Herschel Company, and I honestly have no idea what this company was until I looked them up on RCDB, and I found that they are incredibly boring and unoriginal. They build kiddie coasters, like a lot of them, like 205 of them, but that's not the boring part. The unoriginality is derived from their absolute garbage ability to name their coasters. Well, I guess that's more the park's fault, isn't it? But to have a collection of coasters where they all share the same name is a bit saddening. Let's look at their collection. They have 6 coasters called Kiddie Coaster, and 58 coasters called Little Dipper. You heard that right. 58 coasters called Little Dipper. They have tons of Mad Mouses, Monster Mouses. You even have a whole handful that are just called Roller Coaster. This manufacturer is great to farm kiddie credits, and that is really where the fun ends. This is why they go in the D tier. Next up is a coaster manufacturer that you either love or you hate, Aerodynamics. And I absolutely hate this company.
Hey yo, what the
I've ridden a very good collection of air coasters, Viper, X2, Matterhorn, and Canyon Blaster, yet I did not come off any of them rather satisfied. Ninja is probably my favorite coaster by this company right now. Not the one at St. Louis, the suspended one at Magic Mountain. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Now I can recognize that they are pivotal and set the course in the industry for quite some amount of time. They came up with the first steel tubular track and set the tone for the modern inversion. All their calculations have been done by hand, and I find that really cool. The roughness and jankiness I don't handle well, especially because positives and intensity are not really my thing. I can stand B&M loopers and generally smooth loopers, but Aero just does not do it for me. But if you can look past the roughness, it offers a really great ride experience, and for that reason and the monumental history, Aerodynamics earns the B tier. Bolliger and Mabillard, or B&M for short, is probably the most prominent manufacturer in the industry. They have built 124 solid coasters. That's less than Herschel, but hey, they are actually doing something. B&M is mainly known for their reliability, perfect track record, and high capacity. They have a whole bunch of quirky models. I love the flying coaster, the invert is cool, the floorless is interesting, the dive is fun, I guess. Standing is an interesting concept that did not do well, and I think the surf will not be any better. The wing coaster is really cool, and the hyper model is just perfect. Their catalog is one of the best to choose from. Combine that with the guaranteed quality experience, B&M is a go-to manufacturer for many. I mean, the cost does hinder some clients away, but this is really not what we are talking about in this video. B&M has also built some elite coasters like Fury and Orion. I just named the 2 gigas that they made. Whatever. So for these reasons, Bolliger and Mabillard, or B&M for short, wins the S tier. Next up is another random manufacturer that goes by the name Bradley NK. This is another kiddie coaster manufacturer, and in the 10 coasters that they built, I have somehow been on one of them. I didn't even realize it until I'm writing this script, but I have been on Timberline Twister by this same exact company, and it's a kiddie coaster. What do you expect? You hit some hills and turn around. There's nothing special about this manufacturer. At least they have 4 Little Dippers, but for the same reason as Herschel, this manufacturer goes in the D tier. Next up is Chance Morgan. You might know them better as DH Morgan. They're pretty cool, I guess. They built some average hypers, some of them are better than others, and that's pretty much it. They are known for some good airtime and smoothness, and the iconic Santa Monica West Coaster, and for these reasons, DH Morgan earns the B tier. Now we have Custom Coasters International. To be honest, I do not know much about wood coasters and I probably should. This company looks to have a solid collection of woodies, and I think they are generally smooth. You have Boulder Dash, Ghost Rider, Shivering Timbers, and Raven, so with those big names up there, this manufacturer is definitely in the top half. The supporting lineup also looks to be very good. They have built 34 coasters, so there is quite a bit there. Of course, you have your airtime as most woodies do, and that's all what I have for this manufacturer. A tier. The Din Corporation is next up. They honestly built a pretty mediocre lineup of woodies. There's 10 of them total and only 4 of them are still operating. That's already a big red flag, but this manufacturer is defunct, so I'm not going to say anything too soon. From the sounds of it, these coasters are not aging well and getting more rough and rough as the years go on. However, this company does not make dog or kitty coasters, so it goes in the C tier. Next up is dynamic structures. You might know them better as dynamic attractions. Looking beyond their somewhat cool bridges, you have a steaming pile of trash. They have 4 coasters, or have 4 coasters in the works. Their only operational coaster that they have built I have ridden, that being Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland, and from what I understand this was built in-house with this company fabricating the track, so there's really no award to give it here. Their other 3 coasters are in the works, and let's be honest, they may never open. I mean, look at Mission Ferrari, that thing has been delayed for like 7 years. At this point, you should just open it or we're just gonna give up on you. But like the Din Corporation, they do not make trash kitty coasters, so they are in the C tier. Next up is the Fabry Group. This manufacturer builds some janky traveling coasters and a hump of kitty coasters. You have your typical Wild Mouses and a half-interesting Astro model, which is a traveling inverted coaster, but there's only 2 of them operating, and like the other manufacturers that make trash coasters, we put them in the D tier and forget about them, haha. Next up is a more prominent manufacturer that we all know, Gerstlauer. My view on Gerstlauer is pretty good. I think they are a solid manufacturer and make some pretty solid coasters. They don't make elite coasters. I would probably have to go to Europe to find something close to elite, but they do make fun coasters. I really enjoy riding a Gerstlauer, and most of the modern ones are pretty smooth. The Beyond Vertical Drop, that is the signature element of Gerstlauer, is fun, and the multi-looper elements are what you expect it to be. Like I said, I really have to go to Europe to feel what Gerstlauer is truly like, but from my comfy home in America, I'm going to put Gerstlauer in the A tier. Next up is Genova. This coaster manufacturer was kind of a mess from start to finish. They use B&M track, which makes their coasters look rather nice, and I think they all ride pretty well. Goliath and Titan get a lot of hate for being pretty much forceless, and like, how can you build a hyper that doesn't even have airtime, and I'm not really bothered by this whatsoever. I still think Goliath is a very solid ride, and Titan is probably the same way. Of course, you have Anaconda and Gold Reef City, and that looks to be a very solid invert. Probably better than your typical Batman clone. Too bad no one really knows, because who goes to South Africa for this coaster anyways? And that right there is their whole catalog of coasters. It's very short, but sweet. I think Gianavola had a good run while it was here, and their 3 coasters are very respectable. A tier. The Gravity Group is an interesting wood coaster manufacturer. They are like Intamin in the way that whatever you ask them to do, they will probably do it. They have an inverting wood coaster in Hades and Mindblower, but both of them are insanely rough, and that's a massive turnoff for me. They have some interesting small wooden coasters that are supposedly good, in Oscar's Waxy Taxi, and of course the very interesting Switchback. You also have some more prominent wood coasters like Voyage, Leviathan, and Ravine Flyer. This manufacturer's catalog is the most diverse for a wood coaster, and is what I believe is truly the best wooden coaster manufacturer out there. I think that this company has an exciting future, and I cannot wait to see where it takes them. And for these reasons, I'm going to put Gravity Group in the S tier. Next up is another wooden coaster manufacturer, and the only one that I think is in contention with the Gravity Group for the best wood coaster manufacturer, and that is of course GCI. You have a lot of mediocre to high tier woodies here. I can name a lot of them. For some reason, all of the GCI coasters feel so familiar to me, even the international ones. I mean, the highlights are probably Gold Striker, Mystic Timbers, Wickerman, and Ghost Rider if you count that, but beyond that there's a very solid amount of woodies. GCI is generally on the smoother side, and you can expect a bit more laterals than other coasters in this genre, and of course the airtime is always there. Their new Titan track looks to be quite promising in the Age of Steel coasters, but their Millennium Flyer trains are, let's be honest, they're pretty mid. For these following reasons, GCI earns a solid spot in the A tier. Intamin makes some great elevators. If you ever need me to rank the best Intamin elevator creds, then comment that down below. I have extensive reviews posted on my non-existent channel if you're interested in that, so make sure to subscribe. Jokes aside, Intamin is a hit and miss manufacturer. They have the record for the fastest coaster and the tallest coaster, and Intamin is the manufacturer that if you ask them to do it, they can do anything for you. If you wanted a half flying coaster, half invert, half standing coaster, Intamin could probably come up with some crazy concoction that would meet your needs. However, there's a big issue of reliability and customer service. I mean, look at the most recent events. El Toro is an stinky, Top Thrill Dragster is going to be in a grave soon, and Accelerator has been dormant for quite some time. Despite this, Intamin is rebounding quite well. Their new Blitz model looks to be somewhat reliable and a great ride. The future is bright for this company, and I really hope they can get some of the established coasters back up and running. For these reasons, Intamin ends up in the S tier. We have officially reached the halfway point, and with that the video is going to end. Make sure to watch the second part. That will come out next week or the week after that. I haven't decided yet. Just stay tuned. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.